Yeah, uh, but also your, like for instance, you also have evade on your two hollow genies. So if I tried to attack with that thorn burst, which is a volley, I would not be able to hit that.
Yeah.
So that is a, but if you play this on this card, I now cannot attack it unless I had a area of effect.
Yes. However, do I really care more about my genies than my basilisks? No, I won't even have time to use
Uh,
my charges, will I?
you might. I have three cards, and I have to win this one. So basically, I have to play. I'm gonna have to play all of them. But it is a choice. You could potentially keep pulling out cards on, like, say you, if you put this on your Hollow Genie back here, it would then be untargetable. So I could not hit
Yeah.
it with target, or I could not hit it with evade, which is its subtype. So, uh, which means you could potentially do the loot box a few times because this also gets an action. Oh, I forgot you healed with it. That is
Yeah,
right.
I healed that with that, so I do not get my charge. Yeah, I'm not sure. You know what? I might just not defend my best. Well, you do have three cards, and you will likely take the turn to try and kill it. So I will actually put it on the basilisk because that means you can't double attack it. At best, you can just
Yes, that is
deal two,
true.
and then I regenerate.
Mm-hmm. Because that's good you picked up on that because the Thorn Dryad, the first one, the Thorn is just a one damage. So yes, I then
Oh,
can't
hold on.
pop it. Go ahead.
I think I misplayed actually because, but that's fine. I didn't misplay because regenerate 2 means it heals 2 on its turn, right?
Yes. So you actually
So
didn't need to
technically,
heal it. You didn't need to heal
yeah,
it.
I
So
should have healed this instead, but that's fine. I misplayed, so that's fair enough.
well, that also allows you if you didn't want to heal this, you could also then spend its turn to put a charge on it. I will let you
Yes, but I've
decide
already
what you want
taken
to
my
do.
turn doing it, so
Uh,
I'm not gonna take back a misplay. So it's all right. You can take that
I
back.
I if you would like to, you totally can. It's a learning game, so it's up to
It's
you.
fine.
Uh,
Did I put a charge on the Basilisk this turn? I don't
you
think
have not, no.
then I will. And I believe that is my turn because I've used this, I've used that. This one is it doesn't need to be in the stance, but it kind of may as well. It doesn't matter. Range attack 1 damage. Uh,
So range attack one
I
damage. You won't get through this because it doesn't have pierce.
yeah, it's pointless. So I'll just
Okay.
end my turn here.
All right. But now this also has an armor, although it
It doesn't matter until you play more cards, anyways.
hmm. All right. Well, I could kill that. This doesn't do anything. Man. I mean, it's mean if I do that. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, I forgot you put the holographic cloak on that. Oh, that was actually a good play. I thought I was about to be mean, but now that means I actually can't stop it. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, man. I actually am not liking that now. Right. Alright, I'm gonna play the Kappa Elephant Bees. What do you have? You have 2 damage on that. Alright, I'm gonna play him in his Rock Rhizome stance. He will give himself 3 armor. And I will do a Okay, that's actually a really good play against this. So I will do 2 damage to your back row. It will not hit this. So this will now have be at 1 health. This will take 2 damage. Uh, this will take 2 damage. I will not be able to kill it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack your Hollow Genie Medic. It'll have a, what is it, 4 damage dual strike.
He's
So
dead.
it'll, yeah, yeah, he's just outright dead. I played my card. Yeah, that's it. That is my turn.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think it depends on what cards you have, but I think I mean it's regenerate anyways on my turn, so I'll just remove these and I will heal my cyborg seraphim.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I may as well flip this. So you cannot deal 3 damage immediately, can you? I don't think so. One. You kind of can, I suppose. No, you can't because this one does not have pierce or whatever it's called. Yeah, okay. That's cool. In that case, I will use the ability to get rid of your big buff tree guy
Ooh, all right. That was actually
because I
that was a good play. That's like the I thought so. The Hollow Genie Medic can be really dangerous if you have the Immortal that's in that deck because it can basically be charged and used every turn. But the cloak on that was really powerful.
Uh, yeah, I figured because I think I might just be effectively immune against this perpetually. Yeah,
So
that's your
yeah,
turn.
I have to basically make a decision of so I could
No, well,
the
you can't kill it because this one doesn't have pierce, right? Unless you have a card that gives you pierce or something magical like that. But at the moment, you cannot kill this at
oh
any point. I'm pretty
so
sure.
so this technically these ones aren't there because he is damaged.
All right.
Zen is
One is there. One is there.
no the so it has Zen
Oh.
1. Yeah, so
Okay.
I can kill this, but I potentially chose not to, and I do have a sniper attack that's 1 damage.
I
Um,
see. Yeah, I forgot about the Zen thing and how that works. Well, yeah, then you are correct. Then you might be able to
yes,
kill it.
so I can let's see, 1 2. I can actually do it this way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do sniper attack 1 damage. One will get through, and it so let's see. It has this attack modifier. If you look at the card, it says effect grappled is takes +1 damage from all sources.
Hmm.
Then I can do my just normal 1 damage, and it would do 2. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So this will be removed from play into the purgatory. And then I will play my Spectral Bigfoot, the first immortal of the game. He has stealth and guard, and he has a 1 damage. This is now not in stance, so it's quite vulnerable, but. And then I'll end my turn.
Yeah, not much I can do here. So that's pretty much it. Just charge my guys up and hope you don't have anything.
Ooh. So could I kill anything? 2 damage. Actually, no. Let's see. 6. Alright, so that will.
I think you still take the round though.
Well, so I can take the round, but I will not. be able to kill anything. I can do 2 damage. I can basically, all I can do is 2 damage to this. Because you have that stealth, it actually prevents my follow-up attacks, which is
Yeah.
quite nice. And you have evade, which means I can't hit it with this. So that will end. I basically, if you had attacked with something, I was saving this to maybe use this last card. I'll put it here, the destroying
Mhm.
cryptid. But because this destroy target cryptid, it just destroys it outright. I couldn't defend against that. Okay.
I will give you one design note. So
Sure.
target gains +1 attack action. I would suggest you denote an attack action with some sort of symbol or iconography so that it's clear that, for instance, my binary batholith's paradox gaze is it technically an
Yes.
attack action
Yeah,
or is it
it's an
is it?
attack action. Yes, because it's basically one of his actions, so he can then spend his turn and basically charge it up quicker if you had a hybrid deck that had this chlorophyll blade. So yes, you can do that. Um, for
Well, no, I
ex
was wondering if the definition of the paradox gaze being an attack action or like
hmm
an effect.
it
Okay, then never mind.
yeah, so there um I
I
will
will still
make sure
say that
that's clear.
maybe you will benefit from like a little like sword icon or something to denote that this action is strictly an attack action.
Okay.
It's a very minor semantic thing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the feedback. I think that could be helpful. All right, so we will end and count might.
9, I believe.
Yes, you have 9, and I have 13, 15. So I'll win that next round.
Yeah, and
Okay.
everything of mine goes into discard, correct?
Yes, unless you had an immortal. I have one
No.
immortal, so he is out. Um, and then it's a shortened third round if it goes to it, so we each only draw 3 cards to begin. And I believe I still have 1 extra card. So I will go first. I'm going to discard this card. Alright, I'm going to discard 2 and redraw 2. And that was a really bad redraw. Okay.
Wait, so how come we're only drawing 3 cards in
So
this
the
one?
third round, so it's a best 2 out of 3 battle. So
Mm.
you won the first, and then I won the next. Uh, then the game, if it goes to a third, it is a slightly shorter battle.
I'm not sure if that's necessary because battles are already really short. They're only taking a bit longer because we're yapping about it.
Yes, but it also allows the game to potentially be a little bit quick. So format-wise, of like it doesn't have to be super long, where some like games of TCGs can go on and on and on and on. Um,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
appreciate the feedback on that, and we'll consider maybe testing some longer games. In all of the testing that we had done before, it really helps with like the replayability to not like get burnout on one game. But yes,
my point is because fundamentally your rounds aren't long anyway. So
yes,
why reduce them even further?
it was like a time thing, and also it felt right. But I definitely appreciate the feedback on that, and I will
Mm.
continue to see what new players think about
Yeah, I bring
the.
it up mainly because my deck, like my draw here, is abysmal, and I pretty much can't play anything by result of only having 3 cards.
Yes,
That's
and so you do
kind
still
of
get
my
to do
point.
the discard and redraw.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah,
that
sure,
does
but I only
potentially
have
happen.
a limited chance of having
Yes.
a completely unplayable hand
Yeah.
still.
Yes. Yeah, that is
And in my
something that
opinion,
does
that's
happen.
fundamentally unfun.
Okay, and I definitely take that with some serious weight. Fundamentally unfun. I'm gonna write that.
Well, yes,
Well, no, no. I
being
mean,
limited to two.
it's a great feedback. And it's something that we do know
Mhm.
can potentially be an issue if you don't have any potential might that can be played. That does affect the ability to enjoy the game, especially if you redraw and you don't get any might. I might have to see about putting in a rule break on that, where if you do not draw any might on a mulligan, it can be redone as a potential way. Um, yeah.
Okay, sure.
That
Did you? Yeah,
yes,
okay.
that's my turn.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see what you have here.
Okay, so the
Ancient
ancient
and
end,
oof.
it offers regenerate 3.
Alright, I'm gonna play my moth in range. Yeah, I will put that in the back line.
Hmm.
And I will add some power to it, I think.
Ooh, getting
That is my turn.
scary. Getting scary. Wow. If you play everything. All right, I'm gonna play Mycelium Sage. I forget, I don't have to turn it around if you view it.
Yeah.
Melee attack, 1 damage, volley. I can't do anything with that. And this already has stealth, but I will put him in his mycelium smoke stance to give this stealth. Um, this already has stealth, and it also has Zen and Angry 1. Zen 1, Angry's +1 power while at full health. And then that will be my first turn, because you played in the back row, and I don't have an attack modifier that can, like a backstab, which is, like, you had that other character that had backstab.
Alright, so my only play here is to play my Ankh, my extra life, and now do I attack is a question. No. If so, yeah, I keep my tokens if that pops, don't I? Like
Yes.
my power tokens, yeah. So that's pretty nice.
Okay. So
That is my turn.
you're saying that your other card is not playable?
No, it is playable.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure. This is like a stalemate. Stealths and no ability to attack. Alright, well, I will put... It's not going to do much good. It's not going to do much good. I did not mean to do that. Okay.
The
Unselect.
target in the same region gain the stealth subtype. That is that's almost busted, honestly. That's very strong.
It is potentially very strong. Okay. I cannot attack you because you're in the back row, so that'll be my turn. You're at 5. Okay. 8. It's like a stalemate.
Pretty much. And that's
Ooh.
kind of my point. I don't think I've already said it, but I don't think the rounds are long to begin with, so it
Okay.
would be more interesting to have 2 more cards.
Okay.
Right, and that's all I can do.
Okay, did you potentially
I just
attack with
added a
it?
token. No,
So
I can't, can I? Like, there's nothing
so
I can
you can
target with
actually
this
attack
spell.
at this because it's other targets, so he's not in stealth.
Ah,
And you
yeah,
have, so it would be and it's also pierce, so the armor, it would get through that. It would do
great.
3 damage straight. So that is something you could do, which then potentially you might be able to destroy it next um, turn.
No, it won't because of your ongoing effect
Oh, that's
of
right.
the
That does
ancient
happen.
end, right?
Yep, that is a good point.
So I will just keep boosting it.
Ooh.
That's
Well,
all.
next now it's getting it potentially do that.
Now I can kill it in 3 turns, pretty much.
Oh,
Actually, hmm.
okay. Well, since you didn't attack, I technically have to declare I'm folding.
Do I not get a turn
No, you
if you
still
fold?
you still have a card. Um, the only reason I technically have to, I mean, I can just play this, but it just doesn't change it. So because it's reactive, um,
When I play something reactive mean too.
yeah. So I actually can't declare I'm folding. So I technically just play it and it'll go away, and that'll be my turn. Um,
All
because
right.
I
So
go ahead.
go ahead.
Mm-mm.
All right. You're saying something? I'm just gonna take my. I was just gonna take my turn. So.
Yeah, take your turn.
All right, sure. So that puts it down to 2, correct? Because I
Now
have
it now it puts it
Pierce,
at 1 health.
1 health. Following that, I will play my emergency number cloud, which all enemy targets take 2 damage against armor, so that should kill it, correct?
Yes, it does, and because it also would technically uh, hits this as
It would
well.
technically deal damage to these, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. This goes away, and that's a reduction of 8 might. And now that would be your last turn. It goes to
Yep.
me. I don't have anything in your front row to attack, and then it would go to the might counting. I end with 3 total, and you end with 8.
Yep.
So you will win your first Weirdwarp game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so then that would be the end of the game.
Yeah, yeah, I figured as much. All right.
Yeah.
Well, do you want feedback or do you have
Sure.
questions for
Yeah.
me as a player?
Um, yeah, I would love any feedback. Questions are, uh, was it easy, fairly easy to pick up and enjoy as far as mechanically? Would be like my
Um,
first question.
So, the thing is, I have a very, I'm literally employed at Tabletop Simulator. Like,
Oh,
I have
cool.
a lot of experience with a lot of games. So as a result, I'm very familiar with a lot of game mechanics. For me, I feel like, it was pretty easy to get into. And I think for most TCG players, or yeah, honestly, maybe even TTRPG players like D&D and Pathfinder, they would probably find this fairly intuitive and easy to get into. Yeah.
All right, good. I mean, that's a big thing for us is that we did not want to create something mechanically that um, was hard to learn, but also didn't require potentially new players to card battle games or TCGs to have any experience. You know, it's very hard to get into like Magic or a new TCG in today's era if you kind of didn't grow up alongside of them because they're quite complicated to learn with all the types of mechanics and stuff. So that's a really
Yeah,
good thing.
I see what you're doing. You're like kind of juxtaposing. Sorry, I forgot the word from juxtaposing. Simple base mechanics with a lot of sub mechanics, such as the subtypes and all the effects and
Hmm.
all that. So I mean, it does work, I suppose. It's not bad. and it's not overly confusing because you do have reference sheets, but let me just look at some of these
Yeah, please
cards
do.
again so I can like articulate the opinion better. But I think for the most part it's fine. I don't necessarily love that subtypes need to be referenced to a subtype card. Um, like But
Yes.
it depends. You already have a lot of text on the binary basilisk, so it is fair enough to say that you have to kind of segregate it away from the card art itself. That's fair enough.
Yeah, so subtypes are the only thing that's not written in plain text with a description
Mm,
on the cards themselves in this core set. In future sets, we are looking at when we introduce new subtypes, then writing what they are on the cards. Um,
yeah.
but that is the only reference that isn't on the cards. But it becomes, as far as like intuitiveness, like flight would be immune from things on the ground. Um, we tried to make them somewhat intuitive, but those are potentially the most difficult thing to learn and remember when first beginning playing Weirdwarp. It
They
becomes
are
a
intuitive when you read, sorry for
yeah,
interrupting, but yes, they are intuitive once you read them.
yeah.
However, I don't know, I'm not sure. I think it would take me quite a few plays, probably, I don't know, dozens of plays before I'm like comfortable with not having to use a reference, which maybe is fine. That is not too uncommon in card games. So maybe that isn't an arguing point. Maybe that is totally fine, but it is a point of criticism that I will highlight.
No, and I definitely appreciate that we definitely thought a lot about what text was on cards, like uh, the subtypes not being on it. We felt was probably going to be okay, but like the attack modifiers, like that card you saw of mine that said grappled, things like that. Everything that would need to be known, like this card, for example. This
And do you need to add cryptid before after every single like at the bottom text, whatever it was called? Do you really need to add the word cryptid at the bottom of it? Couldn't you just call it a construct? Couldn't you just call it a what else is there
so
here?
that's like
Let's
the
see if it's right.
ancestry.
Yeah, ancestry. Couldn't you just type flora instead of flora cryptid and just type construct nightmare instead of concept nightmare cryptid? That gives you a little bit more space in the card, for instance, omitting the word that is just repeated in every single card.
Yes, except for when there is deck building stuff, it helps with knowing. So when you deck build, you can combine any two um, decks or any one ancestry, and so that allows uh, the game to develop in specific hybrid decks. So if you have a Flora, say, construct, you'll be able
Yeah.
to add on our future expansions, we have some hybrid expansions coming out. You will be able to then also play your, instead of any two decks, the Ancestry play also develops where you can add any Flora constructs to either of those as well. Um, it seems like it's not useful. It's a little bit of like future proofing why both words are on it. In our prototype, it actually
Mhm.
did not say both of them. It
I
only
take it back, however, because now that I look at other cards, it has a construct relic,
yes.
and it would because if all cards, if it just said relic, then that is incomplete, isn't it?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
inherently has to say construct relic. So fair enough. I take back whatever I said.
No, no, no. I like that individuals are like looking into like those types of things because it was a big uh, this definitely had a lot of consideration of why we're writing it because in our first prototype it actually only said um, cryptid and relic, but then it potentially
Mm.
becomes confusing when you build decks of like, oh, can I actually do all this? Because it isn't like Magic or other TCGs where you can endlessly add variations. You have to basically build your decks with any two of them, and this prevents some like basically game breaking stuff and future proofing where we don't have to retire things over certain combinations happening. So yeah,
I do like your card art.
thank
I think
you.
it's needless to say that you have a lot of general inconsistency issues. However, I mean, is that a problem necessarily? I don't know. Debatable. They are very inconsistent between the decks, but maybe that is totally fine. I don't know.
In what
I
way?
like it regardless.
In what way
Well,
are
for
they
instance,
inconsistent?
they're inconsistent because you use a lot of like customized typesets and fonts, especially look at the contract relic label at the bottom here. It's very different from the alien
Oh
cryptid
yes,
card up there.
yeah. So that is like a
It's
strategic.
thematic and it's fine, but it does create this very drastic difference in
Hmm.
how you read cards. It can be a bit jarring for some people, especially
Okay.
like this flora text. That can definitely be a bit jarring for some people, I imagine, to go from like a very techno font over to this like a grungy handwritten one. But I don't know. I think it's okay. I think it's fine.
Yes, I think when I the all the names for all the cards like at the top will all be in that same font at the top of the card. That names like the card Hollow Genie Medic and Medusa Griff, those use the same fonts. We have used different fonts on like the ancestry part at the bottom of the card. Um,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
I'll definitely continue to consider that.
So the cards that I actually really like, I love the Cyborg Seraphim. That is wild.
Thank you. We have uh, environment and world building as well as the art um, have been hugely important to us as developers of wanting to create a game that was thematically unique and also visually grabbing. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
kind of
I
going
appreciate
back
your
to
themes for sure.
yeah, and so like this is the construct. It's a digital deck, and you have monsters, and this is much more along the lines of like Lovecraftian. And then I think the
Yeah.
only other deck you didn't look at was this, which is the Alien deck, and it also has a different art style and theme. And then all of our future expansions, we work with other artists on our future decks to continue building different and visually impacting, environments. Um, so I'm
Yeah, your
glad.
world building and thematics are great, honestly. I love them. But I also love, personally, I love quirky and weird things. It is not going to resonate with everyone for sure, but it does
No,
resonate with me because I'm that kind of person.
and let's see. And I think we also have like in here, it's also on our website, but there is a little bit of the lore of the decks um, also in the rule books that will be released as well. Um, but yeah, it may not appeal to others, but it also has helped us as developers break into other markets of potentially individuals who have never played a TCG or any card battle tabletop game. Are drawn to some of the art and like the art as well. Um, so
Just a design thing. I would get rid of as many like glow effects and shadows though, because that's the part of your cards that I feel make them look a bit cheap-ish.
would you
It's
say
just
cheap?
like yeah, like the glow effects as well as all the drop shadows and
Okay,
stuff. I would get rid of that. That's the only real criticism I have for like your like a design paradigm or whatever you want to call it.
okay. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
But the art itself is fantastic. I quite like it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a big thing. Most of our art is done by one of our uh, co-creators and artist Esteban Moreno. So he has put in a ton of work. And then there's two other, I think, contract artists in the core set, which is like this card, Daniel Reyes, and then this card is an example of one of the other artists,
The
Florian.
Dyson egg, that's really funny. Is that a Dyson sphere in the shape of an egg that hatches something?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like a techno hatching?
Yes.
I don't know what to say.
Uh-huh. Yep. That's kind of you're picking up on it, yeah. And so these are our two other artists in the core set, Florian Gilman and Daniel Reyes, along with Esteban Marino. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
that.
very cool.
Yeah. Any other
Uh,
thoughts
so
or?
I mean, no, not really. If you have questions for me, I have to answer them. And I will also add, I've currently promised away our spotlight spot to Dexterous, a tool. However, Friday next week, if you want, you can send me a message and I can add, if you had a workshop submission for this, like a public demo version, right?
Yes, we do. It's been on, I think, Steam for a few years. Yes.
If you polish that up and make it real nice for me and then send me a square thumbnail, then I can give you a week of the in-game spotlight for your game.
Oh, awesome. I That is so gracious. I appreciate that. Yeah, I will send you a
Mm.
message and get that together. Make sure like that you're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
viewing
the
the
boards
deck,
and
the
stuff,
board,
not, yeah.
and the snapping points. I'll make sure those are all accurate. Yes, that is so nice of you. I appreciate it very, very much. We are
All
planning on
good.
releasing uh, potentially also just like the full game that'll be available on Tabletop Simulator at launch as well. So
In the future, once you polish everything up, like we can talk about like a DLC version if you want. You're welcome to just DM me about it in the future. For now, let's do the spotlight, the in-game spotlight.
cool.
However, do note that it is occupied until the next weekend. You can contact me about it like on the next Friday, next Saturday, whatever works for you, because I've promised away that spot to Dexter's, as I mentioned, for at least a week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just let me know when, and we can get that all set up.
Sure.
I mean, that's very, very nice of you. I'm glad to meet somebody that is working at Tabletop Simulator, so that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. And
All good.
I can set up with our team as well for stream, and we can potentially stream a bunch of games, teaching games and things like that for individuals that maybe you want to play during that time.
If I have the time to,
No, no,
unfortunately,
I didn't necessarily
honestly,
meant you. I
my
meant
schedule
during
is really packed.
I meant during like that highlight uh, time to make sure that our team is available for people that may see it in the spotlight.
Yeah, yeah.
If they want to, because we have like our Discord and we have our website that has a bunch of other information. So I'll message you and I can
Mhm.
send you all that if any of that stuff is needed.
Yeah, so for that in preparation, make sure your Steam Workshop page has all of your like websites, all of your
Cool.
Discords, and all the relevant information.
Yeah, I'll go in and edit that today. Thank you.
There you go.
I think that really, as far as I like to know if it was, fun to play.
Yeah, it was.
If there were any things that were difficult to learn, I think we kind of went over a lot of that. Um, like the round thing,
It's a little bit. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
It's a little bit difficult for me to get into the mindset of like a person who has never played a TCG or has never played a board game. So I can't really speak
Oh
from
yeah,
that perspective. I think overall, your rule set, when explained verbally, then it is perfectly fine. It is actually quite intuitive and quite easy to get into. I imagine. I'd have to read your rule book and see if
hmm
I intuitively understand it afterwards, which I can actually. I'll go and read your rule book once we're done here, and then type you a message about what I think about it if you want.
yeah. I can also send you the PDF version of the rule book that is like on our website and things like that that you can read through all of it. Um, that if you don't want to have to read it in TTS.
That would be preferable, yeah. And then I can give you an opinion that's more from like um, from the perspective of like if I imagine myself to be a player who does not have the benefit of having the game designer explain everything to me.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I all that is very, very useful. So I'd appreciate that. Um,
Sure thing.
other than that, if you have any questions for me, I'm open to answer anything. Um, but I'm very glad that you enjoyed it, regardless of any previous experience or not. And then also,
Mhm.
it appreciated the art and just enjoyed playing it. That's the most important things for us. So it's uh, that it's fun and it doesn't have to be something that is like purely monetary driven. So like we're not technically a TCG, so But yes, I'm very appreciative of your time, and if you have any other questions, just let me know.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm just gonna throw you some praise because I'll be real with you. In like 9 out of 10 cases, when somebody invites me to try new TCG, I just fall asleep.
Yes.
Whereas this was entertaining. This was fun.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We've worked very hard. We've been in development for since the initial like kind of COVID shutdown, which was March. I guess what
Yeah.
5 years ago, 4 years, 5 years ago.
It's like 4, 3, 4-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. So during that initial COVID shutdown is when the team kind of formally coalesced together and began working on it. So um, we worked very tiresomely about trying to make a game that was engaging and not didn't just feel like because that is something that a lot of TCGs, especially independent developers, they kind of try to take the same formula mechanic wise of every other TCG that's
Yeah.
existed. Like it's either a type, as in like kind of reminiscent of Pokemon, or it's a mana resource system, and sometimes it's hard to get into those games because they just feel like a reskinning of previous games. So I'm
Correct. Yeah.
I'm glad
By
that
all means,
yeah.
you do use a lot of so what caught my curiosity is that you, be it deliberate or by accident, you use a lot of mechanics and like descriptions that someone would. I mentioned this before, but like what you would see in a TTRPG like Pathfinder or D and
Yes.
D, and that was fascinating to me.
Yes. So we how like my elevator pitch when I'm pitching to stores or at conventions is that we are a card battle game mixed with uh, like a tabletop real-time strategy game with some poker mechanics. And so
Yeah,
that it is supposed to kind of break into some of that more board game and RPG environment, and not just only trading card games. So that
it definitely did
was
feel
intentional
like.
for us.
It definitely does feel like a card game for sure, but it doesn't feel like a TCG, I suppose.
Hmm.
Like it feels more like I'm playing Hearthstone, if anything, because these
Yeah.
mechanics are actually unlike most of the, like, I'll call them shovelware TCGs.
Hmm.
You probably get what I mean. Unlike those, these mechanics are actually kind of fun, and they're simple, but they are very significant by virtue of the rounds being short and sweet and all
Hmm.
that. So yeah, you have a good thing going, and keep it up.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And with like the limited draw mechanic, a lot of times people find that very like jarring, like, oh, what do you mean I can't draw every time it's my turn? And we've intentionally done that so that it's mechanically different, but it also prevents uh, broken um, mechanics from being overused, where there's a higher rate of replayability than only looking for like in normal TCGs. Oh, I'm just looking for the same combination. So even when you deck build, you're not going to be able to um, completely guarantee that the thing you're building around will happen every single time. So we always say that our game is less about the cards you have and more how you choose to play or not play the cards you're dealt. So that's been a big
On the topic of deck building, however, if I can interrupt,
yes. Yeah, go ahead.
so you have these very distinct like categories, like themes of cards, and these cannot be combined, correct?
What was that?
Like say, I cannot combine alien cryptid cards with say like construct cards to
Yep,
form a deck, can I?
yep, you can. You can
Okay, well
combine any two decks. Yes.
in that case, I kind of maybe will bring back the
The
inconsistency
writing.
argument.
Yeah, yeah. I get
Maybe
that.
some things should maybe be different, but like say the top text as well as the bottom text, like alien cryptid and
Hmm.
the flora cryptid, maybe those should be uniform, whereas everything else can be thematic. So it's
Okay.
not too jarring. It's like a
Yeah.
blend in between consistency and theme, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that um, from like a player's perspective, and I will say that there is some the final like version because we are going to be printing the game as well. Um, like like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not.
this is preliminary art for sure.
Well, we go through so many iterations of like text proofs and stuff like that. So sometimes on these digital versions, there are some cards that like for example uh, the type size on this card is slightly larger on the bottom than it
Yeah.
actually should be. But yes.
I was gonna say something. God. Let me try to collect my thoughts here. I think unfortunately I forgot.
That's okay.
So we'll just skip it, I suppose.
But yeah, I appreciate you taking all the time, and if you're interested in learning more, we're on all the
Do you have
platforms.
Discord?
Yep, we have our Discord channel where we're talking, hanging out with other fans as well as our Patreon people and teaching games, and also we have just some like community things where it's. But yes, we have our Discord. It should be searchable under Wyrdwarp. Um,
I mean, you can just
but
send
yeah,
me a link, can't you?
yep, I'll send you a link. Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Um, well, thank you so much. I appreciate all your time. I probably need to get going before me and
Oh,
my
I need to
other,
get going for sure because I
yeah.
have work to do.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate all the time and suggestions and feedback you've given me, as
Oh,
well
oh,
as
oh,
for the,
the last thing. Let me just
yo,
blurb the last thing. I will just reinstate that. As I mentioned, the last round being 3 cards, I felt like that was unfun. So
okay.
that's my
Yeah.
criticism.
Yeah, I definitely made note of that.
Mm.
So
And that's all I have for
yeah.
now.
Well, great. I thank you so much, and I thank you for the invite for the weekly spotlight coming up later in the month.
Yep.
That was very, very kind and gracious of you. So I'll send that over, and just let me know if it all looks good on your end. I'll make sure that our workshop page is all updated. So
Sounds good. And with that, I'm heading off. I think I should let you leave also.
yeah,
So
thank you.
I wish you a good weekend and yeah, have a good one.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye bye.
Well, this was a successful playtest on Tabletop Simulator off of the official Tabletop Simulator Discord. Found players, so thank you.